How you doing, Gideon?
I'm good. So much shit is happening.
Oh, man. It's just like we've been thrown into a washing machine, and it's not stopping.
That's such a, benevolent metaphor for what's actually happening.
That's true, but the washing machine is filled with mud, not soap.
I see.
Okay.
And blood.
Oh, yeah, right. We did see some blood. Maybe we should dive right into the blood.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, we didn't talk about that.
No.
The weird thing is, we were talking about, the possibilities for the race last week.
Right.
And then I remember you were like, I mean, Trump could die. I think you kind of said it just, hypothetically.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think in this way. But it's funny how lightly we're talking about this also. That it's a very serious thing, and a person died, and two others were seriously injured. I did it. I was speaking about it in a lighthearted way, but it's just been this surreal thing. It feels like from the very beginning, it was just kind of treated like, well, all right, he's okay, he's here. It was just like, what? And then they let him up, and he's waving. The whole thing doesn't make sense in a way. I mean, I believe it all,
right?
Because reality doesn't make sense often. But
you don't think it was a setup?
I mean, no, I don't. But but it's weird. There's a lot of very weird things about it. But I just think that's it's.
Well, what are some of the weird things?
Well, number one, that it just seems such a huge failure of the Secret Service. Like somebody gets up on a roof that is not that far away, and that they'd been warned multiple times about him being there, and that they were warned 20 minutes or maybe it was even more than that, but beforehand, an hour beforehand.
People noticed him
being shady.
Walking around.
Right.
Yeah.
So that, and then I feel like it's super odd that it just nicks him. That, just the odds of that are super weird. Right?
Yeah. And was it the bullet or was it a piece of the teleprompter? I guess they don't know yet.
I haven't heard a confirmation on that either way. I mean, I guess they're saying it was the bullet still, but and then the fact that the Secret Service, I don't know, didn't just tackle him and keep him completely down and not let him.
Oh, Trump!
Yeah, just they let him get up afterwards. Even though I heard that they had confirmed that the shooter had been killed before they let him do that, but still, the fact that you miss this and it just the level of incompetence of the Secret Service is just hard to fathom. But I forget the saying, but it's that you think something is there's a conspiracy going on, and it's usually just chalked up to human incompetence.
Right, and they kind of, like you said, they had an eye on this guy, and they were like, he's kind of looks a little seedy or weird.
Yeah.
And then they kind of lost track of him.
Yeah.
And you'd think if they lost track of him, they'd be like, you know what, don't let the president go out to start a speech until we kind of find out where this guy is.
Yeah. And why was there just nobody just standing on that roof?
Well, that's the weird thing, I think, which is going to come out, and they're going to have a hearing, is that wasn't even part of the Secret Service's perimeter. It was the closer area was part of the perimeter, and that building they just kind of didn't even think of as part of their security plan. So I think the Secret Service is probably going to say, we thought local police was going to tamp that down, but that doesn't seem like a good excuse.
No, not at
if you're
all.
the Secret Service, you don't rely on the
local police,
the Butler Police Department,
right? Well, sure. I mean, you don't, but at least if you do, you are like, okay, you are going to be stationed here, confirm that, blah blah blah. Right. But they didn't do that. So,
and there was one guy, apparently, one policeman that did actually take a peek up on that roof. Did you hear about that?
Did,
it was And he didn't really have the guy saw the police guy peeking and pointed his gun at the police guy,
right.
And then the police guy just went back down,
right? Because he was climbing up, so he didn't have a gun in his hand. I guess he was just somebody. I guess the crowd there warned him and said, there's a guy on the roof."
Right. Well, there were some people that were security that were so close to that roof that when they looked up, they couldn't even see him. The perspective,
right? That makes sense.
Was messed up, so it was just a mess. And I mean, I guess in terms of succeeding, they did kind of shoot the guy immediately,
right?
Which was pretty lucky, because if they didn't, maybe he would have killed more people.
Yeah, that's true. But it just goes to show, like, guns don't make you safer.
What, right? A good guy with a gun.
I just it boggles the mind though that you have these people nearby who and they're like, hey, the roof, like they're like, oh, you remember the Kennedy assassination? Remember how they shot from? I guess he was inside, but they shot from a distance, and it's like,
if you believe he shot. If you believe he shot.
Oh, you don't, right? I forgot.
Oh, no, I didn't say that. I think I believe it, although. There are many that don't, but
yeah, I think it. Well, that's always how I feel about conspiracy theories. Is that I think they're possible, but they come out. If there was a conspiracy, it would have come out years ago. They can't last that long.
Right.
And if there are too many people involved, it's almost it can't be. It's not possible.
Someone's gonna spill the beans.
There's no like worldwide conspiracy or something. Stuff like that.
Right. Now, this guy Crook, so he's what, 20? And they open up his phone. I guess they still can't tell if he was like a Democrat or Republican. And somebody said that he was like turned away from the rifle club in the high school because he was such a terrible shot.
God.
The speculation would be like he just had something to prove, and that he was so like humiliated by getting turned, by being bullied and by being turned down by the rifle club, that this is how he was going to make his mark.
Well, I had heard that detail, but I didn't hear that was the theory. That makes sense, though.
Maybe that's my assumption, because you'd think if they open his phone, they'd find a lot of anti-Trump stuff. Right. If he just hated Trump.
Yeah.
But then apparently he was a Republican, registered Republican, but he had given a few bucks to Act Blue, the Democrat.
Right.
So.
And I guess was his mom is a Democrat and his dad is a Republican, something like that.
Oh, is that right?
I forget. Like, there's still a remarkably little information on him, but it sounds like he just wasn't... he was just having mental health issues. He had been looking up, major depressive disorder and stuff like that. So it seems like maybe there was no really political reason for it. It was just, aiming for a high-profile individual. Is that? I mean, I'm trying to remember the musical Assassins now.
Oh, right.
Actually, what were their reasons, right?
That's funny. Right, well, somebody I know that David Handelman wrote, he did a post and was like, now they have to update the music.
The musical, right.
I know. Yeah, well, one of them was like, one of the guys had stomach trouble, and then John Wilkes Booth was like a failed actor, and
right.
Some of them were like one was an anarchist, so they all had different things.
And the other he just wanted to impress Jodie Foster, right?
Right, John Hinckley.
It might just be something like that.
Some crazy thing. Oh, Manson, the Ford people, the woman who tried to kill Gerald Ford was like part of that Manson, cult.
Right. Did Manson have a reason to do it, to push her to do it?
Oh, Manson? I mean, I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah. I don't know the case that well, but they had Hinckley in the musical. They have Hinckley and Squeaky Fromm.
Oh, right, Squeaky Fromm.
Singing a duet because they both did it to impress someone. Okay. One Charlie and one Jodie.
Oh, gosh.
So, it was brilliant.
Yeah, it's a good musical. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so he survived, and and
then Biden is still alive as well. He's a week later,
right?
So I think,
my God,
that's the thing that just keeps popping up in the news. And I honestly thought, like, okay, that the fact that I thought it was going to be out of the news. I thought it was like, okay, the Trump thing, and then Biden came out with he's going to reform the Supreme Court, and then J.D. Vance, and then the convention, and it was like, okay, well, we've kind of gotten over the whole thing if Biden is going to drop out. So we're moving on from that. He's in. And then, it's not over.
No, well, last week I think we were talking about how Chuck Schumer defended Biden, but apparently in private, like Schumer and Jeffries and all these bigwigs have like been privately talking about how they think Biden should get out.
Yeah.
So, there's clearly different stuff going on behind the scenes than what's going on in public.
In public, yeah.
And I bet after that debate, everyone basically were like, there's no way he can stay in.
I guess, but they didn't, like, get together and,
No.
take a shot at the king. There was no, Cassius, right? That's who does it?
Right, Cassius. Is it Cassius or Cassius?
Yeah, maybe it's Cassius, and then it's Cassius Clay.
Cassius is Muhammad Ali.
Right,
yeah.
there you go.
Well, there's no real, blueprint for how this type of thing should go. Like, someone on TV was saying the blueprint for choosing your nominee is to do the primaries, and that this isn't really, there's no, nothing in the Constitution about this, so nobody else is really in charge other than Biden.
Right, but there are, if Pelosi and Schumer and, I don't know, a few other people had gotten together after it happened and then told everybody, this is what we're doing, it's just like,
I don't know,
can you guys communicate?
What's happening? It's such a humiliation if they kind of do it like that. The one thing, too, that was very interesting, that the Biden camp kind of came out and pushed back against all those people, basically saying these are the people who gave us Trump because they went past Biden in 2016, to choose Hillary Clinton. In a way, Biden would have made more sense as a candidate since he was the VP.
That's a good point.
And they just had a feeling, so he's kind of like, yeah, you guys were wrong before, and you gave us Trump, and how do you know you're going to be right this time?
I mean, well, that's the thing. I don't know. I understand they're like, oh, he's doing so poorly in the polls too, but I don't know that putting Kamala in is gonna change anything, right?
Well, the other interesting thing, I mean, there's so many angles to this. One thing that people are also saying, if Kamala does get chosen to become the presidential candidate, she may do worse in places like Michigan or Wisconsin, but she may do better in Georgia and North Carolina. So wow. It's not as if she's going to necessarily win the same swing states. She might actually win Georgia, but lose Michigan, and she could still win, but she might be weaker in some states, more racist states or whatever.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's pretty fascinating. And then everyone's like, who should be the VP?
Yeah.
And
would other people just step down and be like, okay? Or is there going to be like, now's my shot. I got to take Kamala out and get to the top of the ticket. I don't know.
I mean, I think they're not going to want there to be dissension.
Mm-hmm.
And if Biden is the one who ultimately has to decide to sit down, stand down.
Yeah.
I think, as we talked about maybe weeks ago, he's probably going to say it's going to be Kamala. And Biden and his wife and the campaign may already know he's going to step down, but they can't.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Say anything.
That's what I thought yesterday. But then today, it's again his. I guess it's his campaign manager coming out and saying no, he's not stepping down.
But they may just be saying that in public until they figure out an actual plan. I wouldn't believe what they say necessarily.
Yeah, that's possible. And if they're going to do it, they probably wouldn't do it on a Friday. They'd want to do it Monday, Tuesday, something like that.
Yeah, and also a week ago, he might have felt like there's a 5% chance that he was going to step down, and now maybe it's 60%, so maybe he still hasn't decided to do it, but he's moving closer to
honestly,
it.
If I were in his shoes too, I feel like it would be hard to decide, because even if I am cognizant of the fact that my faculties are fading a little bit and I'm more tired, all that kind of stuff, you're still but still, I won, I'm the incumbent. I don't know that turning it over to whomever else is a good idea. It's a hard choice. I don't know it now. I'm not sure. I was very much okay, he's got to step down. And at this point, I'm I don't know. Just make a decision.
Yeah, they should just make a decision.
Dems have to back off. The press has to back off. And
Right.
At a certain point, it just has to be done, which is why they're talking about doing the nomination early in August. And Washington Post just published an editorial today saying that, that's a horrible idea, but I think it's a good idea. I think okay, if it's gonna be Biden, we gotta batten down the hatches and put an end to this. Although I'm fine with it. Okay, I have a question though for you. Have you been following this a little bit about the sort of people, the Democrats going back and forth about what's the right decision, getting rid of Biden or not? And there are all these people who are sort of saying that, it's just the elites who want to get rid of Biden, and it's the elite news media and, some elite Democrats, and it's the sort of progressives, like AOC came out today, I think, and said she wants Biden needs to stay in, who have his back more. I don't quite understand them saying that it's it's an elite thing. Do you get that?
I mean, I kind of get it. I feel like when you hear... I feel like a lot of the politicians who are coming out against Biden are doing so because they're worried about the down ticket people.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like selfish reasons, even if they might be right. But I think a lot of them are thinking he's going to be a drag on the ticket, and the Congress and the Senate are going to be lost, as well as the presidency.
But those are good things to worry about. That's not an elite thing to worry about.
They are good things to worry about, but I think if you do, I have seen some man-on-the-street interviews, and none of them, I don't know, people are kind of... There was one woman on MSNBC who was like, I'll vote for him on a ventilator, and there's just I also feel like it could really hurt future elections if the Democrats who support Biden feel betrayed and they drop him, and then next election all the Democrats are going to be like, why should I even vote? It doesn't even matter. They're just going to choose whoever they want anyway.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, there are people who are upset about the idea of Biden dropping out and him being pushed out, but I don't know. I think you're right, though. I think the man on the street thing, you're right. Most people, I think, are kind of like, whatever, I'm going to vote for whoever it is kind of thing.
Right.
At least people we know.
Elite is maybe the wrong word. It's that word is bandied about way too much. What does it even mean? We've all worked for the media, and nobody there is really elite. It's kind of like a mudslinging word.
We say that, but
there are people. Yeah.
Well, it depends on what you mean by elite, but
elite is a little the wrong word. It's more established. It's the establishment,
Right. I mean, that's
elite means you're rich and fancy.
Right, but the rich people are, Clooney.
True.
What's her name? The Nancy Pelosi. They're
right. Yeah. I mean, you can call her and Clooney elite for sure.
But yeah, I guess I don't understand why people are rushing to Biden's aid necessarily, but they're not doing it in necessarily such a way of we love Biden. Although maybe I'm wrong about that, because what's been great actually is hearing people come out of the left and say hey, Biden's been the most progressive president I've had in my lifetime.
Yeah,
and it's well, yeah, where have you guys been?
I know. It's
Although
true.
I've become further and further left further and further left
because of Trump. Partly, I mean, I feel that way too.
Me too. I think it's also having kids.
I was middle of the road. Yeah,
I never thought of myself that way, but I don't know. It's just you have kids out in the world to me, and it's some people get more conservative, I guess, but to me, I'm I need everyone more help taking care of them. I need the country taking care, we need to take care of each other. You know what I mean?
Right,
anyway,
right, totally.
Yeah.
I'm happy when I get a tax refund, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's all kind of
cliche, Republican thing of
oh, right.
But I don't mind paying taxes in general.
But I think I definitely have opinions on we should change tax law in this way or that way.
Right.
But it's there's no comparison between the two parties, I think, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we're talking about left or far left, that's a good question.
That's usually that's the big thing where people they say people as you get older will get more conservative because you just hate paying taxes and blah blah blah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't trust like Republicans to lower my taxes. Is the thing. That's you know.
No, that's true.
If I maybe then I would feel different, but
now I think the polls in general, Trump versus Biden are. I don't think Biden's doing that much worse than the debate, but I do think there are polls where it's like 60-70% of Americans, maybe 80% of Americans, 65-70% of Democrats think Biden should be replaced.
Yeah.
So if I was Biden and I looked at that, I mean, that is pretty...
we may be in an age where incumbency is no longer a benefit as much as it used to be, at least for the presidency, perhaps, because people are just always low-level mad for like the last 20 years.
Right.
Like they're always going to be dissatisfied.
There is a downside to being an incumbent when you're president. Yeah,
right. I didn't know
sure.
if that used to be the case, but because you'd think based on all the fundamentals, right, Biden should be doing pretty well.
You'd think, although I do think the economy is so complicated.
Maybe
there's
that's
so
what
many
it is.
shitty jobs. Well, it's inflation, and then, they're like, oh, the unemployment rate is low, but, like, if you're working at, like, I don't know, an Uber driver, like, are those people going to be super happy with, like, the quality of their lifestyle? I mean, I
guess so, but I think
has changed.
Wages have gone up, too. I mean, I don't know. There may be something we're not measuring correctly. I always think the housing thing is big. But
I'm sure.
But other than that, well, just because the cost of housing has outstripped everything. But
they just say that most people. I'm sorry to cut you off. Are just like, no. I mean, people have so little in the bank. I just feel like nobody feels secure except like 2%.
Right, but that was always the case, though, right?
I don't know. It feels worse now, I think. Especially with the cost of gas, and
that's true. Oof.
People are like,
how much gas? How much is gas out there?
It's like $3.65. I wish
God.
it was like $1.65. It's more out.
Yeah, it's like $5.
LA,
it's like $5.
Oh man, yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah,
brutal. Well, yeah, it's a crazy week, and then we didn't even talk about the convention, which is both speeches. Trump and J.D. Vance were pretty boring. J.D. Vance is a terrible speaker. I thought he'd be exciting for the Republicans, but nobody seemed that excited about him.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I had said it was going to be Burgum, so I need to say that I was completely wrong there.
It's okay. No one knows who Burgum is still.
That's true. That might be why he didn't get chosen.
But hey, Beard, there's a possibility of Beard could be back in the White House. Do you think that's going to shift things a little bit? Maybe he'll win Williamsburg?
J.D. Vance's
terrible.
Beard?
Terrible thing I just said.
No.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean...
Right, those cough drop guys.
Who are the cough drop guys?
Remember there's one of those cough drops. They're like mascots are these like 19th century bearded guys.
Oh.
Smith Brothers.
Oh,
Smith
wow.
Brothers.
Okay. Yeah. Are they mints, though, or are they cough drops?
I thought it was cough drops. I don't remember.
Gideon just eats cough drops, like sucks on cough drops instead of mints. Are you a mints guy?
I do. I like gum more than mints.
Yeah. Yeah. My son was actually asking me about gum yesterday and asking me, like, how many different types of gum have you had?
Oh, funny.
I was like, there's lots of types, There's like a cinnamon, a spicy cinnamon gum. What do you like? What's your favorite?
I like the mint.
Just classic
gums.
I told him about cotton candy, Hubba Bubba or Bubble Yum.
Ooh.
And he was intrigued.
Yeah, that was like a phase. All those. What was the other one? Hubba Bubba and Bubblicious.
There's a lot of Bubbas out there.
Do you remember the theory that there were spider eggs in Bubblicious? That dates me. That's way before you probably weren't even born.
I don't know. It sounds like something that would have been said when I was of the age for that thing. Yeah.
Hubba Bubba.
Yeah, they were trying to kill kids.
Hubba Bubba.
They were all trying to kill kids.
I know. So what's going to happen? So before we go, will Biden drop out? Will he make by the time we do our next show, will there be an announcement? I say actually there might be.
Yeah, you think so?
I think it's a good possibility.
Yeah.
I think he's moving in that direction.
Yeah, do you think there'll be like a big ceremony where they like sacrifice him, like a murder,
right, on the pyre?
Yeah, like
right.
drop him, like he has to walk off a cliff or something like that.
They throw him into a volcano,
wearing all white.
What was that? Joe versus the volcano.
That's a movie right there. I mean, that's a good one. Yeah.
Better than Hillbilly Elegy.
I didn't see it.
I haven't seen. No, but I hear it's terrible.
Yeah. Did you read it or anything? I feel like people.
I did read it. It actually wasn't terrible, but then there were some people that made a good case for how the book was BS. Where even if you enjoy it, if you look back at it, it kind of doesn't make that much sense. But I honestly don't remember it very well.
Yeah. Is it because does it paint the salt of the earth people as good, hardworking people who are, caught in the teeth of capitalist society? Or is it like, hey, these people are idiots and they need to work hard to pull themselves up by the bootstraps?
I don't even remember what. That's a really good question. I mean, I think he's kind of painted as like way better than he should be painted. Mm-hmm. In it, and his mom. I don't know if it even takes that strong of a point of view either way. It's definitely seems fairly well written.
Yeah.
So it makes you think he has a brain, I guess. But,
I mean, these guys.
Somebody could have written. He could have had like a ghostwriter or something.
Yeah. Hey, do you know what bootstraps are?
I've heard that expression, pull you up by the bootstraps.
Well, you pull yourself up by them.
Oh, right. Is it something that connects your pants to your boots?
Oh, that's interesting.
I bet.
So are you
like
pulling
suspenders
on your like pant leg or is it like your leg has given out, so you have to pull your own leg up?
Oh, interesting. Maybe what you do is if it gets too loose, it's easy for you to get tired, but if you tighten the bootstraps, it kind of like makes you stand up more straight because it pulls you into your shoes a little tighter.
Wow.
This is we need like a linguist.
Yeah, no, I feel like I think you know exactly. I think you're wearing some bootstraps right now and just not, you keep it secret. Okay, that sounds, I buy that.
Strap on boots.
I want some now, frankly.
Maybe they'll make a comeback.
Yeah, maybe they will.
They should sell some Trump bootstraps, since that's what
they should. It's
more about
bootstrap. Well, I read some of that Project 2025, and one part I thought was really odd was something like, on our side, our people shower in the morning and not at night.
I know about that.
Oh, did you? Did somebody talk? I randomly came across it.
Are you sure it's not vice versa? Well, that guy Brown.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. They shower at night. They shower at night.
That was his.
Yeah. Sorry.
Right. That was what's that guy's Brown, the senator from Ohio.
Sherrod Brown.
Sherrod Brown. Because he's always been like a working class. He appealed to the working class.
But wait, but he's a Democrat. They stole it from him.
Or no, maybe. I think they must have. It was that other guy that ran against Vance, Jim something.
I don't know.
He would always say his parents like worked in the mines and stuff, so they would shower at night and not in the morning.
Wow, so they stole it,
dusty.
Of course. Right, I had to think about it. That's why I just screwed it up too. I was like, wait, why? Okay, because you can't.
Jim Ryan,
go to sleep
something Ryan, Tim Ryan.
Tim Ryan. Okay, yes.
Yeah, that was part of his whole pitch. Too bad he didn't beat Vance.
Yeah, I know.
Oh well.
Well, maybe we should start showering at night. I do shower at night. I don't know.
If I have to wake up super early in the morning, I'll shower at night. But I do like that a shower will wake you up in the morning. It kind of like invigorates you.
That's true.
Gives you energy.
That's true. Maybe I feel like I have more to do with the children in the morning, so that's why. It's like, Anyway, there you have it.
There you have it. All right. Well, we'll see what happens with Biden, and it's just going to be very, very interesting.
Okay. Interesting times. My prediction is that he rises up into the sky and we never see him again.
Like a phoenix.
Like a phoenix. We'll see. We'll see. That's my prediction.
Very Homer.
Yeah. If I'm wrong, I'll be embarrassed, but I want to put it out there.
No, I think you're right.
Okay.
I think
Thank you.
That's exactly what's going to happen.
All right. Glad we're on it.
All right. Well, we'll see.
Okay.
Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.